everyone, my name's Claire from King Thing Marketing, and thanks to the Digital Ready program, today I'm going to be talking all things Instagram. So a little bit about the Digital Ready program itself. This is a little look at the website, which has a bunch of fantastic resources for anything and everything digital that you could possibly need to know for your business. There's also a section dedicated to COVID-19 at the moment, so there's a lot of tips and tricks in there about how to pivot your business to deal with the current situation that we're just starting to come out of. So for those that don't know, you're eligible for 2 hours worth of free mentoring and training every calendar year through the program. So if you have a small business or if you're in charge of the marketing for a business, you're eligible for this program. So you can head to the website, head to the Digital Coaches tab, and you can book an appointment that way. You can also call the 1-800 number, which you can also see on the screen. That's a new resource as well. So give us a call and you can book an appointment that way. So a little bit about myself and King Thing Marketing. So I work for King Thing as a marketing consultant. I've done so for a couple of years now. So we're a full service digital marketing agency. We take care of websites, social media, SEO, graphic design, marketing strategy, you name it. So I feel really lucky to work for such a great business, and obviously mentoring is a big part of what we do as well through the Digital Ready program. So that's what we'll talk about today. So just a few things that we're going to cover in today's session. So we've got Instagram 101, so just the basics. Instagram posting, advanced functions of Instagram, some new features that have been rolled out towards the end of 2019 and in 2020, as well as some handy online tools that'll make the use of Instagram much easier for you. So let's get started. These are the two different views that you have of Instagram, desktop versus mobile phone. So the mobile phone app is the one that most people would be most familiar with. It's the best way to use the platform. The online version of Instagram, it's there so you can view pages, but you actually can't use it to upload any sort of content. So it's really just having that presence online, so you can go and people can go and view the feed, and that's about as far as it goes online. So it's really where you need to be paying most of your attention is through the Instagram app itself, and that's a little bit about what they look like. So here we have a graph. This just has some information around the distribution of Instagram users worldwide, just to give you a bit of a snapshot. So when you're thinking about the type of content that you're posting, be mindful that the majority of users are between the ages of 18 to 34, and then it starts to peter off ever so slightly. So you obviously, with any kind of marketing that you're doing, your target market is priority, so you want to be speaking to them. But just be mindful that when it comes to Instagram, these are the main people that are quite actively using the app. So it's just something to take note of. So one of the more recent updates that was made about 12 months ago now, and it was a pretty big change to the platform, was the removal of likes on Instagram. So that has stayed. It was just a bit of a pilot to start with, and it was introduced in Australia around July 2019, and it stayed. So basically what that means is anyone who views your content, they can't actually see the total number of people that have liked the post, whereas before it would say, you know, the user's name and then maybe 42 other people. Now you actually can't see that information at all anymore. So it seems to have been a really positive update to the app. Basically, it's going to be staying. So it's obviously, it's working out well for them. It hasn't affected engagement on the platform. If anything, it's made it better. So just something to be mindful of, that will be sticking around. So now we're going to have a chat about content. So what should you be posting on Instagram, and how can you use the different features to post your content and say what it is that you want to say? The most important thing to be mindful of with content on any form of social media really is the 80-20 rule of content. So what this rule means is that 80% of the time you're providing information to your followers and you're educating, and 20% of the time you're actually promoting or selling your product or service. The reason for this is that if we're constantly just selling and talking at our customers rather than sharing information, they're not going to engage with what we have to say. It's about building trust with the consumer, sharing your brand values, brand awareness, and then that should in turn lead to sales or achieving whatever outcome it is that you want from your product or service. So 80-20 rule is one of the biggest things to remember when you're thinking about what you're going to post. Test your timing. So what this means is that have a think about what you're posting and when. So this, or probably around 2 years ago, Instagram was chronological. So you could really just know that when you put your specific post up onto Instagram, a user would see it. It'd be the first thing that would pop up in the feed. That's no longer. So the way that the Instagram algorithm works now is that they will pick and choose the content that they want you to see based on what you engage with. Having said that, it's still really important to be mindful of when you are posting in terms of days of the week and times to a degree. So there's just some little tips here around testing out your timing, and you can use your insights to see when your audience is most online and when they're going to be more likely to engage with what you're posting. So just take note of the days, the times, and the themes of content that you're posting. So there's a little tip here. For example, on a Thursday, you might post about what's happening on the weekend, just to give you enough lead time. And as an aside, Thursday generally seems to be the most popular day for activity across social media platforms as well. So it's generally a good day to post content. How to get higher engagement. This would be one of the things that I'm most asked about in digital ready sessions that I have with clients one-on-one. So they're always, asking me, how can I get better engagement? How can I get more results out of my social media? So it's a really common question, and it's a common problem that a lot of businesses have, particularly when first starting out. So again, there's just a few statistics here. So faces get 38% more likes than photos not showing faces. Photos that are tagged with a location see almost an 80% higher engagement than photos that don't. Hashtags will help to get your posts found, so use them. They work on Instagram. Don't worry about using them on Facebook. Absolutely use them on Instagram. And we'll talk a little bit more about those a little later in the presentation as well. And make sure you use the latest features. So that includes ephemeral marketing, which is a really fancy word for Instagram stories. It's marketing that you put out there that then disappears. So it has a short shelf life, but it shares a really important message. Video versus photo on Instagram. This is another question that we commonly get asked about as well. Should I include video as part of my strategy on Instagram? There's a few different ways that you can share video content across Instagram, and I'm going to have a chat about those a little bit later in the presentation as well. There's just a few things to be mindful of. 64% of customers said that they're more likely to purchase a product online after seeing a video of that particular product. However, overall photo engagement still overtakes video engagement on Instagram. So don't feel that you need to rush out and invest really heavily in video content. If you want to do it well, it's absolutely worth investing in. However, know that photo is still going to be the number one way that users will engage on the Instagram platform. But as I said, we'll have a talk about different ways that you can use video. So ideal video time lengths to be mindful of. In the feed, so as an Instagram post, you can post videos up to 60 seconds in length. The ideal time is around 30 seconds, just to capture your user. They're more likely to pay attention to the video if it's just that little bit shorter. So make sure you get the most important content in the earlier end of the video. Instagram stories are 15 seconds at a time. So you can knit together 60 seconds worth of Instagram stories as well. It'll just jump from slide to slide as it goes through. But generally they're 15 seconds in length. Instagram TV, the general length of an Instagram TV video is 10 minutes. If you have a verified Instagram account or a large following, then you can actually post Instagram TV up to 1 hour. And this side of Instagram, so the IGTV, it's called, which we're going to talk more about as well. It's a relatively new platform. It was a bit of a slow burn to start with, so it did take a little bit of time to take off, but it's really starting to get some traction now. So it's absolutely worth looking at. Again, if you have the ability to invest in some great video content, it's a really good one to look at. The other form of video that we'll talk about is live video as well. So live videos can run for any amount of time. And there's a lot of different ways that you can use live video on Instagram as well, and some great new features that have recently been released in regards to live as well. So influencer marketing, when it comes to content, is something that you see on Instagram most heavily than any other social media platform. So Instagram and YouTube are the highest when it comes to influencer marketing. 40% of people say that they made a purchase online after seeing a product posted by an influencer, and there's an 11% higher return on investment. There's some different ways that you can engage with influencers. You can just take the approach of hitting the ground running and contacting them. So heading into their DMs and sending them a message to see if they'd be interested in working with you. And again, most influencers work in many different ways. Some will be happy for you to send them a product that they can review and then post about. Some will require a fee. So it really just depends on the influencer at the time. So that's a whole nother topic that we could talk about for a really long time, but just be mindful that it is a really great way to market on Instagram. Just some more information about influencers as well. There's two different types. So a macro influencer has 20,000 or more followers. A micro influencer has under 20,000 followers. So early Instagram days, people that had thousands and thousands of followers were the ones that you really wanted to be sending your products to. Whereas now it's done a bit of a flip, and it's totally fine to be having an influencer who has, say, even around 5,000 followers promoting your product. The reason for this is they generally have more engagement with their audience, and they've been able to build more trust in having that smaller, more targeted audience as well. So that's something to be mindful of when it comes to influencer marketing. Now, thanks to the Facebook Creator Studio, you can now schedule content on Instagram. For digital marketers, this is an amazing new resource that's become available. So you always could schedule on Instagram, but you had to use a third-party app like Hootsuite or Later, but now you can actually do so using the Facebook Creator Studio, which is fantastic. So I've got a little snippet of it here. This is what the Creator Studio looks like on desktop. So basically what you can do is pop in to the top left of the screen. You just head to your content library and you can post and schedule to your Instagram account right from here, which is fantastic. So there's a reason why it's also really great to use this tool, and that's because anytime Facebook or Instagram release a new feature, they really appreciate it when we get on board and use it. So they'll generally reward you with some really great reach and engagement for your posts as well. So it's great to get onto that. Instagram posting. So I'm just going to talk about the basics of posting to Instagram. So if you're familiar with this, feel free to skip through the next couple of minutes or keep watching. But some of this is just some basic how-tos for Instagram. So hashtags. What is a hashtag? Again, something else that I get asked about quite a lot. What is a hashtag? How do I use it? So a hashtag is a word or a few words that are all knitted together that you should always include with your Instagram posts. The reason why they're important is that they're searchable, so they can help to increase your engagement and help you to find a broader audience to engage with your product or service, your page. It helps to build your brand, and again, it helps to increase engagement. So the reason that it helps to increase engagement is, again, because your content can be found by a wider range of people. Instagram picks up on hashtags. It can see who's clicking on them, which hashtags are trending, which are popular, and your content will appear with other content that includes that same hashtag. So you'll always be found. It's just another way, as I said, to increase your reach on the platform. Here's some examples of how to use them and how they can be used really well. So the Discover Tasmania page, I suggest you grab your phone out and have a look at that page, because it's a really great example of how to use hashtags really well. So that entire page is made up of user-generated content. So that's content that's been posted by you or I or someone else who've included the Discover Tasmania hashtag on that post. They search that hashtag probably daily, and they find a suite of content that they can then reshare on their page. So you can see on this slide that currently the Discover Tasmania hashtag has just over 650,000 posts. It's probably even more than that now. It's always increasing. It's a really popular hashtag to use. People come to Tassie, they want to share their time here. And as I said, that's the way that the whole Tasmania page shares content, is by using that hashtag. Here's another really great example of effective hashtag use as well. So this accommodation provider, Thousand Lakes Lodge up in the beautiful Central Highlands, they posted this photo and they included the Discover Tasmania hashtag on their post. So as I said before, the guys that manage the Discover Tasmania Instagram are constantly scrolling. They've seen this image and gone, that'd be a great fit for our page. We're going to reshare that. So the original post on the page when they were just starting up had 91 likes. The Discover Tasmania page posted it and it got just over 5,000 likes. And I know that the likes and the audience on that page just boomed after that as well. So as an accommodation provider, that was really fantastic for their brand as they were just starting out and they were able to build their audience really quickly after that. Again, here's just some tips and tricks on using hashtags. Always create a unique hashtag for your business and include that on all of your posts. So for us, for example, hashtag King Thing Marketing, we include on all of our content just to be consistent. Don't overdo it. Don't feel like you have to list, up to 50 hashtags just to try and get every single word in there. Instagram doesn't love that. If you try and include too many, they're generally going to look at your content as spam because you've tried to spread it too far, basically. So you need to find a bit of a balance, which is generally between 6 to 10 hashtags is a good number to use. And choose less frequent but popular hashtags. So don't be sucked in by using a hashtag that's got 6 million posts in it because your content's going to get really quickly pushed down the list. So find a balance, find pages that are similar to your business or that you get inspiration from, see what hashtags that they're using, particularly if they're in a similar industry. And that's a good way to sort of see which ones are working best for you. So how do we search for hashtags? If you're doing some hashtag research when maybe you're auditing your Instagram page or you're just starting out on Instagram, all you need to do is head to the search page, click on tags, you can start typing and it's going to bring up all of the different hashtags that relate to that particular topic. So the Instagram newsfeed, this is where when you first jump on and you're scrolling, you're going to find all of the content. So this is where when you're posting, you really want your content and your caption to stand out to get people engaging. So how do we stand out? So posting curated photos, and what I mean by curated photos is making sure they're consistent. So make sure when you're thinking about how you want to display your brand on social media, what do you want your theme to be? How do you want it to look? Do you want warm tones? Do you want cool tones? Maybe you want to be black and white. You can see from the example that's posted on this slide, their brand color is peach, and you can see they've been very consistent in how they're posting. They're sharing the product, they're sharing faces, they're sharing tips and tricks. So it's a really good example of being consistent and posting curated photos. So you want to inspire people to picture themselves with your products as well. So by posting, a really beautiful image or something that's educating that they're going to engage with and they think, yeah, I'd really like to be part of that or purchase that product. You can use a tool called Canva, which I've got an example of a little further in the presentation as well. But you can use Canva to create stylized photos easily. It's a free online tool as well. And that's a good one to use for sharing quotes, testimonials. You can use the same template over and over again. So again, to make sure you're being really consistent. Consistency is absolutely key when it comes to posting as well. Sponsored posts that you may see popping up in the newsfeed are essentially paid posts. So they're also commonly seen on Facebook as well with the little sponsored tag, and it works exactly the same way on Instagram. So what this is a post that's got a little bit of money put behind it to be shown to a broader audience. So we talk in more detail about paid advertising in our paid advertising presentation as well for social media, which will be coming. So essentially, whenever you see the little sponsored tag, it's just that that the business has put a strategy behind it to say, we want to show this to more people that we think are going to be interested in it. And it's really easy to do, which I'll show you how to do a little bit later as well. So how do you post? So I'll just zip through this relatively quickly, just for those that are really new to Instagram. There's just some info here on how you actually post. So step 1, head to your home screen. So this is the newsfeed view. Hit that little plus sign down the bottom there. Then you can select whether you want to post a collage of photos, a boomerang, which is a little short snippeted video, or whether you want to post just a singular photo. You can then select from your phone library. You can take a photo using the app. I generally always suggest though to have the photo taken on your phone and upload from the library, because then you're going to have more options to choose from. Make sure it's nice and, again, consistent. You can also post video here as well, so your 60-second video that you can post to the feed. Select what you want to post. Tag people if there's people in it that you need to include, so you can tag them in the image. You can also choose the accounts that you want to post to. So if you want to post to multiple accounts, maybe your personal account and your business account, you can do so. And obviously also adding a location as well, you can see is selected too. As I mentioned before, posts that have a location attached to them, studies show that they do receive more engagement as well. So where possible, add a location. Instagram stories. These have taken off super quickly in the last couple of years since they were released. It's probably even closer to 5 years now that they've been around for. Time's flown by. So there's 500 million active daily users on Instagram stories, which is insane, but true. And there's 1 million active daily users in Australia alone. So if you're not yet using Instagram stories, time to have a think about it and get onto it, because it's a really fantastic tool that you can help add to your Instagram presence overall. 1/3 of the most viewed Instagram stories are actually from businesses as well. So people looking for more information about a product or a service. The way that they work, as I mentioned before, you can do a 15-second video. You can also do just a static image as well and add a bunch of different stickers and effects to them, which I'll talk about as well. So yeah, static image or video can be posted. You can post up to 100 stories in a day if you wanted to. Wouldn't recommend doing that though. Generally up to 10 is a good number to post over a day. And the way that they pop up is at the top of the newsfeed. So you can see those little circles at the top of that snippet there, and that's where your stories will appear. So they are chronological to a degree. So if you've recently posted a story, generally users will see yours right at the top there. But if not, you can actually scroll along. So just by scrolling along the top of the page, you can see more and more stories that have been posted. And as I said, generally the older ones are going to appear further to the end, or pages that you don't engage with as much, because that's the way that the algorithm works. So how do we create engaging Instagram story content? We use these little tools called stickers. So a few to be mindful of are the location sticker, again, is a great one to use. And also things like a poll or asking questions. So what you can do is post a little sticker, ask your followers a question. So it might be, do you prefer this color or this color? Or you might be asking for feedback about a new product. They can answer that question and you'll receive their response into your Instagram inbox. So it's a great way for product research for you. It's also a really great way to get people engaging with your Instagram stories as well. There's a bunch of different ones that you can use. So I'd suggest jumping on the app, have a scroll through, see which ones are on there and just test them out and get using them. That's really the best way to be familiar with them. So how do we create an Instagram story? So back to the newsfeed view, which is here with the circles at the top. There's a couple of options. You can hit the little plus sign in the top left, just on your profile picture, the little plus, and you can add a story that way. What you can also do when you're on your newsfeed view as well is swipe across to the right, and that's also going to bring up the story uploader tool as well. So that's how you actually get there to upload. Then you pop the photo in. So again, you've either got the option of taking a photo using the app itself or uploading a photo that you've already taken on your phone. So again, that's generally the preferred option. The same with video as well. You can see here that the image that's been posted on this particular example has been cropped. So if you take a landscape image, it's going to crop it. If you take an image in portrait, so with your phone just up the usual way, it's going to fill the whole screen. So that's just something to be mindful of as well. It generally crops them ever so slightly. So if there's something you really particularly want to share, just make sure that the view's a little bit wider just so everything's included. So then you can use the little tools at the top to add your stickers, add some text. You can also use the little drawing tool to draw over the top as well. and add different effects to the photo or image as well. The little arrow on the left-hand side that you can see there is somewhere that you can save it. So if you want to save the story as well to your camera roll, just so you've got it somewhere, you can save it straight to your phone too, because again, they will disappear after 24 hours of being posted. There's about half a dozen different fonts that you can use for your stories that Instagram gives you to use. So you can choose the font based on whatever you think represents your brand the best. You can also then choose the color of the text and just type away. You can change the size of the font just by pinching and pulling on the screen, essentially, if you want it to be smaller or larger. And then again, we've got our engagement tools here, so the stickers that we mentioned before. Step 5, add it to your story. So easy enough, just click send to and you'll send it to your story. There's a new story sticker that's recently been released after COVID-19 or during the pandemic. So this support small business sticker is a great one to use. So if you're eating at a local cafe or you've purchased something from a local store, you might take a photo of it and want to share the love, post it on your Instagram story. Anything that has this sticker attached to it actually appears in a dedicated support small business Instagram story channel, which is just essentially a whole suite of posts that have been made by people supporting small businesses. So it's a really great way just to put the message out there about different businesses that have maybe been struggling throughout this time. But I think it's going to be something that's going to stay as well, because obviously we always want to be supporting our small businesses. This is a really great way to do that. So just something to be mindful of that you'll now notice on there as well. So Instagram highlights are a flow on from Instagram stories. So as I said, the stories have been around for a while. Highlights were the follow on. So Instagram stories are a method of ephemeral marketing, as I said before, fancy name for marketing that you post and then disappears after a certain period of time. So the way that highlights work is that we can save our Instagram stories to our page. So I'll show you an example of how highlights look on a page as well soon. But basically what you can do is create themed highlights. So KingThing, for example, we have a team highlight, we have a work highlight, we have an events highlight, and a couple of others. So anytime we post a story, we make sure we save it to that highlight, and then it can live there forever and a day, essentially, so they can always be referred back to. So depending on your business, if you had a different suite of particular products, anytime you post a story that relates to a particular product, you might save it to that particular highlight. So if someone's looking for something specific, they can head to that highlight on your page and see everything that you've done up to that point, and hopefully then make an inquiry based on that. So it's another way to share what it is that you do or more information about your brand. So you can also add stories to your highlight that have been posted to your Instagram since 2017. So if this is sounding a little bit new to you, never fear, all of your stories have actually been saved to the archive. So you can get on there right now and start archiving everything to a highlight and get it all saved there, so anyone can have a look at it when they head to your page. So this is where they live. This is a snapshot of the KingThing marketing page. So you can see the little circles that live just above where our content's posted on the grid. So we have, as I said, there's 6, so there's one that's missing, but they're the highlights that we've chosen to use, and you can add and subtract as you see fit as you go along as well. There's no limit to how many that you can add either. How you do it is that if you're posting a new story that you want to use to create a new highlight, you can literally just hit the little highlight tab down the bottom there and create a highlight as you go. So you can see here, you can name the new highlight. So where it says new highlight there, you simply change the name of that. And it's as simple as that. Hit the add button, highlight created. Try not to fall into the trap of doing that too regularly. You will see some pages where they'll just have highlight, 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 highlight listed at the top of the page. It looks a bit messy. So if you're going to use them, that word curated again, make sure you curate them really well, come up with themes that make sense. So when someone is going to your page for business purposes, everything looks nice and organized and they can easily find the information that they want. So some other tips and tricks when it comes to creating Instagram stories. So the eyedropper tool you can use when you're creating your story, it lives just beside where the little color tabs are. you can pick up the little dropper and move it anywhere on the page and pick up a particular color. So when you're posting, if you want to add some text or draw a line that relates to your particular branding colors, if they're in the image, it's a great way to get everything looking nice and consistent. You can use third-party apps like Unfold is one to create really unique looking Instagram stories as well. So essentially what you do is create the whole story using the app and then you upload it to your story rather than creating it all in Instagram. So that's another way. Make sure you reshare stories that you've been tagged in as well, and you'll receive a notification if someone has tagged your business in one of their posts. And all you need to do is hit the reshare button. You can add a little thank you message or something like that on there as well, but that's a nice thing to do as well if someone's taken the time to post and tag your business. Live video on Instagram. So again, another way that Instagram's really getting into the video space is with live. So it's a feature via Instagram stories that allows you to effectively live stream in real time. So it's a great one to use if you're perhaps doing a product launch or hosting an event, or you want to do a live Q&A with some of your followers. It's a really great way to use video content for that purpose. If you're going live, if someone's actively using the app, a notification will come up to say that you've gone live. So if we were doing this presentation live on the Digital Ready Instagram page today, you'd receive a notification to say that Digital Ready Tasmania is now live. If you've just jumped on the app, on the stories, again at the top of the page in the newsfeed, you'll see the Digital Ready logo with a little live next to it as well, so you can easily see that we're live right now. The benefits of going live. You can provide unique and genuine content. So the great thing about live video is that it can be a little bit daunting to start with, but the great thing is that if it's a little bit rough and raw, it's generally going to be more engaging to your followers. So you can be real. Everyone makes mistakes. If people want to know who that particular person is behind the brand or the business, it's a really great way to share that with your followers and essentially just engage with them on a different level. It can create more excitement about product releases. So for example, in the lead up to releasing a new product or perhaps opening your business or an event coming up, you can start to build excitement around that in your content in the lead up to such time, and then perhaps go live around that particular time as part of your strategy towards that product or event. It can also drive more traffic to your Facebook page if you're going live as well, because Facebook and Instagram work hand in hand essentially. So if you're live on Instagram, you can also be live on Facebook as well and try and get the engagement happening across both platforms. So added bonus there. And your audience can ask you questions, as I said before, so it's a great way to do a Q&A if you want to as well. So it's a good way to be able to have them ask questions and you answer in real time. Here's just a few different ideas of ways that you can do live video. So feel free to pause, note down some of these, take note of them. As I said before, it's a great one for using at events, for Q&As and things like that, but we've provided a heap of different examples here, so hopefully some good inspiration for you to get you thinking about doing a live video. Plus, there's a new feature that's been released. So the new live feature is that you can now save the videos directly to your Instagram TV channel after you film them. So prior to maybe even a couple of months ago, if you'd gone live on Instagram, it lived in your Instagram stories for 24 hours and then it disappeared. Never to be seen again, unfortunately. So now you can actually save them, which is fantastic. So again, this is another way that Instagram's really giving that boost to IGTV, trying to really grow that platform. So you can now save your live videos. If you don't want to save it, you don't have to save it, but the option's there if you want to save that content for future viewing. So how do you go live? All you need to do is head to your Instagram story page, so to create a post, and then just scroll along the bottom. So there's a few different options there, like boomerang or take a photo or a video. Scroll right along as far as you can to the right and you'll see the live option. So what you can do is add a title for your video and then you literally just hit that center button and you're live essentially. So some advanced functions of Instagram. So these are some of the later updates and things on top of the general just posting and using your stories, things like that you can do to really make the most of using the platform. Instagram TV is one of those things. So I've mentioned that a couple of times already, but this is what it is. So you can record longer video content. So I mentioned earlier up to 10 minutes. And if you have a verified Instagram account or I think over 100,000 followers, I could be incorrect on that though, but a larger following, you can post videos of up to 1 hour. But the great thing is that any of us can post a video which is 10 minutes long, which is actually a really great amount of time anyway. So this is how they look on the screen. These versions here you can see have been posted portrait. You can, however, now upload a video to IGTV in landscape as well. So that's a recent update too. So any video that you posted generally had to be portrait. However, now you can actually flip it the other way, which is great. So that used to be a bit of a sticking point for people using it, but now you have more flexibility around what you can post in the layout. So that's just something to be mindful of too. Why would we want to use Instagram TV? We're already using Instagram. Why do we want to create more work for ourselves? Well, there's a few reasons why. Video content as a whole is really great for engagement. Again, if you're taking the time to use Instagram, they love it when we use all of the options that they have available to us. So it's a good thing to have a bit of an experiment with. So essentially the main benefit is that you can post longer videos. So as I said before, videos in the feed can only be up to 60 seconds. Videos in stories are 15 seconds at a time. Lives can be as long as you want them to be, but you can save them obviously. But this is a way if you're wanting to do a really detailed product launch or Q&A or some more, just general information about your product or service, pop it together as an IGTV. People can sit down and spend some more time getting to know you and your business. Another really recent update just in the last couple of months are Instagram chat rooms. So online messaging platforms like the Messenger app, WhatsApp in particular, hugely popular now. So people are using those as ways to chat to a large amount of people at a time, particularly in recent times when we've had to move online with so much of our communication. Online messenger platforms have become hugely popular. So what Instagram has done is they've released the Instagram chat room feature. What you can do is have video chats with up to 50 people. So it could be a really great way to connect with perhaps your VIP customers or doing a product launch or providing information even to some people that may be in your team or something like that, just to engage with them if we can't all be together face to face at the moment. All you need to do to set up the chat room is go to your direct messages on Instagram and you can hit create a chat room and you'll see this little example here that's popped up, the screenshot to create a messenger room. So again, really great way to chat with a big group of people. Instagram competitions. So we see these floating about quite a lot on the app. So we'll just have a chat about those now as well. Why would we do it? One of the other most common questions that I get asked is, how do I build my audience? I've set up this Instagram account and I've got a few hundred followers, but how do I take it to the next level? One of the easiest ways is to run a competition. So it's the best way, as I said, to grow your audience and also really great for brand awareness as well. So there's a few different ways that you can do it and there's some rules. So it's really important to be aware of what the rules are. So they're listed here. So again, take some time just to have a read over those because you'll often see competitions that have been posted on the app that don't necessarily follow the rules. So it's best to be mindful about the correct way that we should be doing it. So these are the do's and these are the don'ts. So what you can't say. So don't say share this post. Don't say tag your friends. And don't say share this post with a friend. But there's clever ways that you can use language around it. So you might say, comment below and tell us who you would share this experience with or who else would love this prize or something like that. Can do that, but you can't directly ask people to do these things on the post. So just be mindful of that. Here's some examples of some Instagram competitions. So The one second from the left there, you can see that they've probably used an online tool like Canva to pop together just that little graphic so you can win a $200 voucher to use at that particular store. And then you can see there some of the wording. So as I said before, you can say, so this particular one is saying tag who you would like to take with you. So it's not just saying tag a friend, it's giving you a reason to share that with someone. So that's okay. You can jump onto the Facebook competition guidelines, and that gives you the guidelines for both Facebook and Instagram. So it's worth a Google just to jump on there if you're a little bit confused about how to set it up. But these are just some really good examples to take note of. The Instagram shop is another tool that's growing in popularity. So there's a bit of a trend forming here. So what Instagram are really trying to do is essentially make it a one-stop shop, for want of a better term. They're looking at making it a one-stop shop. So when you're using the app, if you see a product that you want to purchase, you're not jumping off the app to then go to the website to try and purchase it. Effectively, you can do it all through Instagram. You can find the products that you like, you can click on it, and you can purchase it there and then without having to leave the app. So these are some ways that we can use it. So you can tag your products on your posts and your stories. You can tap through to see more images of the particular product as well. And you can also click through to the website to complete the purchase, but that's done through the Instagram app, as I said. So it keeps you on the app for as long as possible. So you tap on the photo, which is what we've done here, and it's brought up the different options of the products that are available. Once you click through onto one of those products, it'll show you some more products that relate to these particular ones from the same business. And then you've got the option to check out and purchase if you want to. So again, you can see it's trying to keep you on the app for as long as possible and make the purchasing experience really super easy for you as well. Can you use the shop? If you say yes to any of these points, then you absolutely can. So you obviously need to have a product that you sell. You also need to make sure that you have your product set up in a Facebook catalog as well. So jump onto the Facebook business help page, and that can tell you all about how to add products to your catalog. But that's the one thing that you need to do. And then you just need to make sure that you sign up for shopping in Instagram as well, which is done just via the settings on the app. If it's something that you're really keen to do and it seems a little bit overwhelming, feel free to book in for a digital ready session and we can absolutely help you get it all set up. But these are just some tips about how you can do it. Some new features that have been released. So you can see there's a lot that's been happening in Instagram in the last 6 months or so, lots of new features coming out. So in May this year, really recently, they've announced a new shop section, which now lives on the Explore page. So when you hit the little magnifying glass at the bottom of the screen and you go to the Explore page, along the top now lives the shop tab. And when you hit on that tab, essentially the whole page is filled with all of the pages that you follow that have products tagged in posts. You can go there and see all of them. So again, one-stop shop. Instagram's now giving you the option to say, all I really want to do on Instagram today is see what I can buy. You can head to the shop tab and do so really easily. So advertising on Instagram, I touched on sponsored posts before, which again, as I said, is more about just boosting your content out for more people to see it. Advertising is slightly more involved than that. So we'll just go over how to do it and the benefits. So as it says here, it's the equivalent to boosting on Facebook. It's best to do for posts that already exist on the page and are already doing well. So if you post something and it's getting really good engagement, assume that more people want to see that and will engage with it. So it's worth you putting just a little bit of money behind it to show it to more people. You can create a custom audience to target. So rather than just sending the post out to anyone and everyone to see, you can narrow it down to say who your particular target market is that you want to show the content to. So that can come down to age, location, and interest groups as well. So that's a really useful tool to use. So again, just touching on sponsored posts, they can be created through Facebook Ads Manager. They can also be created via the Instagram app itself. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. Basically, you create it through the Ads Manager account, so you can post it to Instagram and Facebook if you want to. So it's just giving you the flexibility to do both. So there's just a little bit there about the things that you can do and what you can use for a sponsored post. This is how you do it. So when you're in Ads Manager, And I'll skip through this relatively quickly because there's quite a bit there to take in, but feel free to pause the screen. You can see exactly what you need to do. This is the Ad Manager view. So when you're placing your ad in Ads Manager, make sure that you edit placements and make sure that Instagram's selected. So once you've selected to post to Instagram stories, just a little reminder that your video that you're posting should be a full screen, vertical or portrait size video, just to make sure that it's going to work the best on the app. So just a little reminder there about that. And then you just head through the rest of the process in Facebook Ads Manager. Again, that's more related to the Facebook side of things, but if it's something that you're interested in doing, feel free to book a session and we can take you through the whole process and help you put a campaign together. So insights, using your Instagram insights. It's great to just be aware of these. I always say don't get too hung up on it, but it's really good to know who your audience is, when they're online, and most importantly, the type of content that they're mostly engaging with that you're posting, because again, you can then mimic that and it's going to help with your overall engagement. So you can see here the main interactions: profile visits, website clicks, and then clicks on the email and call button on your business page as well. And reach versus impressions. So you can see whether your posts have been shared to other people via video, whether they've been liked or whether you've been tagged. And you can see the full list here as well. So quite a good just overview. It doesn't go too deep, but it's just good to be able to see again those total numbers, and in particular as I said before, when people are online, the posts that they're liking the most, and also when they're mostly online. So you can see here from this little graph, it's showing us that we had the most profile visits on a Wednesday and a Thursday, so likely because there was obviously new content posted on those days. But you can see in total how many people made an action, so action engagement, whether they liked or commented or clicked on the post. And it also tells you how many accounts you've reached through your content. So it works again similar to Facebook Insights. So you may have reached more or less people than you actually have following your page, because people may have seen your content on the Explore page or they may have seen it in their Instagram feed. So reach just means the number of times your post has appeared on someone's account. So they may or may not have clicked on it, but it's just telling you that you've actually potentially reached this many people. This is just another little screenshot of the insights. So this is where you can see who your audience is. So you can see here, this almost matches up with the overall Instagram usage as well, which is why I said to be mindful of that, but also note that it may be slightly different for your business as well. So for example, this particular business, the highest demographic is from age 25 to 44. So overall on Instagram is about 18 to 34. But there's obviously just a slightly older audience engaged with this business. So again, that's where it's important to be mindful of the overall usage, but also your business in particular. This also tells us the percentage of males and females. So it's quite a higher skew to the female audience here, and also the times that they're mostly online. So it's also really great to be mindful of that when you're posting your content too. Are they online more in the morning or the evening? This tells us generally more so in the evenings from around 6 till 9 p.m. So that's just a good thing to be mindful of too. This is where you can get an overall snapshot of how well your content's going in general. So a good one to jump on and see which post has been most successful. So we can see here this particular page, there's a post there of some cute little animals up in the top left, which has gone really well. Anytime you can include a fluffy animal or a dog in your post, do it, because you'll always get really good engagement. So that's worked really well for this page. So you can see there, again, just a really good snapshot of what's going really well. So again, you can mimic that in your content. And don't quote me on the fluffy animal thing, because you may not always get the best engagement, but generally you will. So this is a snapshot of your insights that you can see from the Facebook Creator Studio as well. So that's just another way to check out your insights. It's really just a matter of preference. You may prefer to look at it on the desktop view on your computer, or you may prefer to use it on the app. This is just showing you another way that you can see your insights as well. Some handy online tools that you can use for Insta. So Hootsuite is a great tool for scheduling. So as I said before, we can now schedule using the Creator Studio, which is fantastic. But you can also use a third-party app like Hootsuite to do so as well. And you can use that on desktop too. Another tool that I mentioned previously as well is Canva. So again, you can build quotes, which is the example that's shown here, or you can pop a bunch of different templates together to make sure that your content is nice and consistent. So come up with an overall background or some text or something like that that you use on all of your photos, and then use that every time you're posting an image that's related to that particular theme. So it's just a good way to get everything like that nice, nicely curated peach feed that we saw earlier in the presentation. This is where you can sort of mimic something like that for your own business as well. Unsplash. So this website is a great resource for stock images. So there's pluses and minuses to using stock images. If you're a little bit stuck for a particular image that you don't have your own version of, you can jump on here and they have thousands and thousands of images that you have free access to use online. So it's a good way to, as I said, if you're stuck for images that you don't have of your own, jump on and you can find something. The only downside is that someone else may have done the same thing. And so people are going to be seeing that same image pop up across multiple different businesses. So that's the downside, but there are ways that you can make it work for you as well. And they're also great for websites too. PicMonkey. So this is essentially another version of Canva that you can use as well. So just try both platforms and see which one you think works best for you, what you have a preference for, but PicMonkey is another option that you have available. Boomerang, so I mentioned boomerangs before. These are another effect. So it sort of sits somewhere between a photo and a video. You can kind of see here how it works, and it's possible that if you use Instagram already that you've seen them being used by people's personal accounts. But that's something that can either be done via an app individually on its own, or you can do it from within Instagram itself as well. And presets. So presets are another tool that it's really gained popularity probably in the last 12 to 18 months or so. These are another way to be really consistent in your content. So Instagram, you can use filters for your photos. So we always recommend being really consistent about the filters that you use on your photos and just picking 2 or 3 that you use to keep the tone of your posts really nice and similar. And presets are another way to do that. So to give some more individuality to your content, you can sign up to presets. You just need the Adobe Lightroom app to be able to upload your presets to the app and edit your photos. So again, pick some settings that are consistent, and each time you upload a photo, try and get that same vibe happening for all of the images. So that concludes all of the Instagram that we have to talk about today. So hopefully we've covered enough for you if you're just getting started on the platform. If you're already using it for your business, hopefully you're now aware of some recent updates that have been happening as well. This is just another shot of the Digital Ready website. So we actually have now a dedicated COVID-19 resource page. So you can head there and see all of the different resources that are available to help you as I said, coming out of the pandemic now, thankfully, but also just some things that you can potentially keep in place moving forward, because who knows how long it's going to be before things go back to any kind of normal. So there's some fantastic resources in here that you can use. So that's just a little snippet of that page. You can see just the tab along the top there that you can head to. Also the resources page on the Digital Ready website. If you just search for Instagram, there's a bunch of different fact sheets and videos that you've got access to on there. So hopefully it can almost answer any question that you have about Instagram that maybe we haven't covered today. You can find all of that information on the Digital Ready website as well. If you're looking for more information about other online platforms or social media, we have recorded already presentations around SEO, websites, and some content creation, LinkedIn as well. So again, here's the address for the Digital Ready website. Feel free to head there, have a read, lots of different resources, and of course, book a Digital Ready mentoring session if there's anything you need specific help with. We'd love to help out. Thanks.